These days, a laptop can simulate pretty much any synthesizer. So I think the reason people still love working with real hardware is for the interface. Turning real knobs and plugging in patch cables is such a better way to experiment and have fun with modular synthesis. The most popular modular synth format is Eurorack, which is a shrunken down miniature version of the older 5U format, which had big knobs and quarter-inch jacks. I've always found Eurorack a bit fiddly, but nowadays people are going further. They have a certain size case and they've run out of room, so they take out modules and replace them with multiple smaller modules. Some of them are only 2 HP wide, and eventually your cables and knobs end up so dense that you end up compromising on the main thing that made your hardware appealing, that is, the interface. I was thinking that we could solve a lot of the interface clutter by making a hybrid knob and jack. Most of the time we have parameters that can be controlled by both turning a knob or plugging in a patch cable, and the panel will have some marker between the two to show that they're linked. Ideally, we could have a potentiometer with a coaxial through-hole socket that could accept a patch cable. There's nothing like that on the market. Maybe if we had a big enough budget and spoke to the right manufacturers, we could make something happen. But instead, I came up with this. This is my Eurorack knob idea. Let's pretend this knob controls some parameter, and as I turn the knob, the value is shown on the LED bar graph. Now, if I wanted to use a patch cable to control that, I just pull out the knob, insert the cable, and as you can see, the voltage now controls the parameter. And when we've had enough of that, we just go back to the knob. So in a sense, this knob is kind of behaving like a single-ended patch cable, and with it we could potentially halve the amount of stuff on our control panels. So how does it work? Well, this is an unmodified, cheap 3.5mm TRS socket, but sandwiched underneath it on the PCB is a Hall effect encoder chip, which gives us the magnitude and direction of a magnetic field. And if you look closely at the plug, I used a Dremel to make a slot in the end and glued a tiny magnet in there. With that, we know exactly when the knob is plugged in, and we know its absolute angle to 12 bits of precision. I've mapped that so that one turn is the full range, and it wraps. But there's no reason we couldn't clamp it, or make it a multi-turn fine adjustment. In fact, since we know the magnitude, we could have different knobs of different field strengths that do different things. One knob controls it normally, but then you hot swap it for a fine-tuned knob that spreads it over 10 rotations. Or maybe just the one knob, and when it's half pulled out, it acts as a fine adjustment. The feel of this knob is surprisingly good, considering that's not a motion the connector was designed for. I don't know how well it will wear over time. Presumably after some number of rotations it will disintegrate. Time will tell. Anyway, that's pretty much the idea. As always, there's more information on my website, mitzella.com, where I've also shared the source code and design files for this little prototype. It's a nice dream of a big modular synthesizer where any knob can be pulled out and replaced with a patch cable. Whether it's practical remains to be seen. But if anyone wants to fund it, I'll build it.